So when I made this channel a while back, I never really imagined that not safe for work art would be a core topic of discussion, but for whatever reason, you guys seem to be interested in the topic. I don't know if it's the taboo nature of the topic itself that interests people, or if my subscriber base is just a bunch of horny artists, but regardless, I appreciate the support. And since there seems to be a lot of interest around this topic, I wanted to make this video about making NSFW art and how it compares to safer work art. Because let's not beat around the bush here, if you're drawing X-rated stuff versus more family-friendly content, your experience is going to differ dramatically. So I'm going to go over the pros and cons of both safer work and not safer work art, and hopefully by the end of this video you'll have a better understanding as to which is for you. So, first things first, let's discuss not safe for work art. Now, before we dive into the pros and cons of it, let me clarify what I mean when I say not safe for work. When I talk about NSFW art, I am referring to art made with the sole purpose of being sexually gratifying. If you're making a comic that occasionally has explicit scenes in it, I'm not referring to that. I am mainly talking about artists who draw hard or softcore porn. Now, with that being said, let's go over some pros of being a not safe for work artist. So, first and foremost, I would say it is a good way to make some side income. Now, guys, let's face it, there will always be a demand for pornographic content. You know, just look at these OnlyFans creators racking in tons of money. There's clearly no shortage of people paying for X-rated stuff. And the interesting thing about pornographic art is that you're able to draw or depict things that really aren't possible in real life. So you can sort of carve out your own niche and really stand out among all the other X-rated stuff out there. You know, take furry art for instance. The last time I checked, all these anthropomorphic animals are not real.
They are real to me!
But for whatever reason, people desire to see these creatures in sexual situations, so much so that they will pay money to an artist so they can draw out their wildest fantasies for them. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if you can draw at an intermediate level or higher, you can definitely earn some money drawing crazy shit, as long as you choose a profitable niche and play your cards correctly. And for more info on that, check out my video on how to make bank as a not safe for work artist. I think most of the tips in that video hold up pretty well, except for the Gumroad part. So check it out if you're interested in monetizing your spicy art. So, the next pro of creating not safe for work art is something that I don't think anyone on YouTube has talked about, but I personally believe that it can actually be a great way to help you stay motivated to draw. Now, I think the easiest way to explain what I mean by this is to give a quick story about my artistic journey. So I started off drawing more raunchy, X-rated things initially because, you know, it was more of a side hobby where I just wanted to make some extra money. And despite me being a complete art noob during this time, I was still getting a good amount of likes and feedback on all my work. And as we all know, drawing sexual content in general is a good way to get more engagement on your post. But I feel like it even expands to people who are new to art as well. Like, you don't have to be an amazing artist to reap the benefits. And honestly, if it weren't for the positive feedback I was getting on my art back then, I probably would have stopped. You know, I think most artists here can relate to the crappy feeling of spending hours on a piece just for it to get little to no likes on social media and how demotivating that could be. So yeah, in my case, I think that having a decent amount of engagement on my early not safe for work art really helped me stay motivated and continue to push myself to improve as an artist. And I can say with absolute certainty that if I were posting safer work stuff back then, I would have received a fraction of the likes and comments on my post, you know, if any at all. And I probably would have felt much less motivated to continue drawing as a byproduct of that. So yeah, just keeping it real with you guys, posting spicy content and getting flooded with likes and comments can really help you stay motivated to draw, and that sort of easy engagement doesn't really happen with safe for work art most of the time, I feel, so that's definitely a perk of not safe for work art. And also, a bonus pro of drawing not safe for work art is that unlike most other careers in the porn industry, it's easy to stay anonymous. You know, you don't need to whip your dick out and start recording yourself doing crazy shit for everyone to see. The beautiful thing about being an artist is that you can draw all your spicy content on your tablet and stay hidden behind your internet avatar. Now, let's move on to the cons of drawing not safe for work art. So right off the bat, I would say a big negative with this is that if you're going to be a NSFW artist, most of your fans / followers are going to put you in a sort of box where they expect you to draw X-rated content. And if you try to diverge from that, you will see a precipitous drop in likes and engagement. So to give you guys an analogy, let's imagine for a second that you, dear viewer, decide to create an OnlyFans. And in this OnlyFans, you post a bunch of videos and pictures of yourself doing nasty X-rated stuff. And let's say you build up a good subscriber base and earn a modest living for yourself as a byproduct. Now let's say one day you find Jesus and decide to live a pure and righteous life. So instead of posting X-rated content, you decide to post Bible studies and philosophical podcasts. If you were to do that, most of your fans are not going to care. They came for the adult content and they sure as hell ain't staying for the intellectual stuff. And I know I'm exaggerating a bit, but this whole concept is something I have personally experienced during my art journey. You know, just to give a quick example, I have a Patreon account that's a few years old now, and it was initially a means for me to make some more side income, so I started off posting more raunchy things on it, you know, to sort of bait people into signing up. But as the years passed, I have slowly drifted away from such things, and yeah, I have definitely noticed a decline in Patreon signups. You know, at this point in my art career, I'm more interested in improving my comic and storytelling skills as opposed to drawing porn all day. And the unfortunate reality is that a lot of my Patreons don't care for that sort of thing. They just want the red meat content. And in my case, it's cool. I'm not dependent on my Patreon money to survive, so I have the luxury of drawing whatever the hell I want. But if you plan on being a full-time NSFW artist, you may find yourself in situations where you can't afford to draw your own passion projects. Now, this next con can honestly be a video topic in of itself, and it is regarding the point as to whether or not drawing X-rated content is moral or not. Now, public opinion on this appears to be pretty split, I would say. I have seen a lot of people say that drawing porn is just as bad and harmful as real porn, and I've seen plenty of other people defending erotic art and say that it's not at all the same thing. Now, honestly, this is something I ponder about a lot, and I won't lie to you guys, I think both sides have valid arguments. There really isn't an easy answer to this question, you know, as to whether or not drawing erotic art is ethical or not. And I won't dissect all the arguments in this video, but I'll say this. Before you start your NSFW journey, you should really look in the mirror and ask yourself whether or not you will feel dirty doing that sort of thing. Because believe me when I say, it's not for everyone. And you know, maybe you're like me, where you initially don't care about the ethics of X-rated art, but as time goes on, you kind of lose the taste for it, let's say. And if you're anything like me, you'll look back at the previous stuff you've drawn and cringe your ass off. But yeah, maybe I'll make a more in-depth video regarding this topic in the future, but I just wanted to at least point it out here because I felt like it was an elephant in the room. But for all you guys listening to this, let me know where you stand on this topic, because I'm sure a lot of you will have unique and interesting viewpoints. Also, guys, if you're enjoying this video so far, then please drop me a follow on X. I really want to host spaces where we can just talk about all sorts of art topics, such as the ones in this video, but I really don't want to just be talking to myself the entire time. So drop me a follow and let's have some good conversations together. Also, make sure to like the video. Don't be stingy. Okay, now let's talk about the pros and cons of drawing safer work art, or in this context, art that just isn't porn. So starting off with the pros, you know, I honestly don't think I have anything profound to say here. The pros of drawing safer work art are basically the pros of doing any sort of art. You know, it's a great way to express yourself and really share your individuality with the world. And obviously I'm speaking for myself here, but I personally enjoy drawing safer work things rather than crazy erotic stuff. You know, when I'm creating a comic and I'm drawing in the scenes where characters are interacting and I'm putting them in interesting scenarios, I just find that more enjoyable than creating X-rated stuff. It just really feels like I'm breathing life and humanity into my artwork as opposed to just making stuff for the sole purpose of, making someone horny. And throughout my art career, I've drawn plenty of not safe for work things and received a decent amount of compliments with it, but I've noticed that whenever I receive compliments on my safe for work content, it just feels nicer, kind of like I'm not relying on titties and ass to get people to enjoy my stuff. It's a much nicer feeling overall and really helped me develop pride in my artwork. And again, I'm just speaking for myself here, but I'm sure a lot of artists listening to this can attest to this great feeling. Now, last but certainly not least, let's go over the cons of safer work art. And to be honest, guys, the only con I could think of is that it can be tough to stay motivated. Now, earlier in this video, I said that drawing erotic stuff is a great way to get likes and comments on social media, and another effective way of doing that is to draw fan art of popular characters from popular IPs, such as Pokemon and One Piece, etc. But let's say you're someone that wants to make your own original content. From my experience, if you're trying to build up a following with your art and you're not banking on fan art or sex appeal, it can be tough to get people interested. And don't take this the wrong way, guys. I'm not saying that it can never be done. I'm just saying that there will be some points where you'll need some grit and determination to keep creating your art. I said it earlier, but spending hours on a piece of work just to have it flop on social media really sucks. And if you're creating your own original stuff, you're most likely gonna encounter that sort of thing. At least initially when you're first starting off and building your following. But as long as you're passionate about your work and really don't care about internet likes, then honestly this con really shouldn't be a problem for you. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and more importantly, let me know if you guys agree or disagree with any of my points, or maybe you just want to add on to something I said. Let's have a civil discussion in the comments.